I'm Rachel Platt, and I am a member of First Christian Church and have been part of the Wholeness Grant team since it began in 2015. I was scanning, I don't know if Kathy's here, but I know Betty is. We have been comrades since the inception in 2015. It is one of the many things I love about this church and what we stand for, what I consider beyond these walls. It really is why I came to this church many years ago at the urging of my sister, who knew the ministry would speak to me as it did to her. The message simply, all are welcome, and our mission statement, to be a movement for wholeness in a fragmented world. They are words to live by, and they were certainly part of the message we received growing up in our family as children. It was really very simple. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, the golden rule. In a world that is growing more divided, more hostile, and more complex, I think we can keep it simple when we focus on our basic core principles of compassion. And I think they are beautifully carried out in our wholeness ministry to be that movement for wholeness. Since we started in 2015, our church has supported over 150 ministries that have touched the lives in at least 53 countries and territories, with over $250,000 being distributed. That's all around the world and in our own backyard. You've seen the pictures in our church of the ministries we have helped to fund, truly living into our mission. I can't tell you how many people are jaw-dropped by this church's giving, by the generosity, and grateful for the funds that are truly changing lives. I wanted to give you just a few examples today, and I start with Molo Village in the Russell neighborhood under the direction of Reverend Dr. Jamesetta Ferguson, others know her as Rockstar. So I just want to say that. Who will speak to the congregation today. I got to be here for the early version. She's dynamite. Molo Village has various programs that we have helped to fund, from children all the way up through the elderly. Your funds have also helped the local nonprofit, the folks who just spoke here last week, Water Step, money designated for clean water for Haiti, again after yet another earthquake. We recently gave money to Water Step. A very recent grant given to Catholic Charities and the Kentucky Refugee Ministries. Your generosity will go toward helping refugees from Afghanistan who are now relocating to Louisville to start over. Can you imagine what is happening to those families? On a plane, perhaps only the clothes on their backs, flying to a foreign country where they may not even speak the language. But those refugees will feel the love when they get here, thanks to your generosity. This year, once again, as Terry said, we are going to be building beds for children in Jefferson County who don't have a bed to sleep on, usually the floor. A conservative estimate is 10,000 children in Jefferson County Public Schools. We heard the story recently from Ben Langley, who was here overseeing us cutting the wood, how one little boy wanted to stay home from school that day when his bed was being delivered. He was so excited he didn't want to miss it. So just imagine that bed, what we take for granted, transformational for that child. I reached out to Rose Smith with the organization, the ACE Project in West Louisville, to see how funds we gave her were being used. Who did they help? Did they change lives in any way? Rose lost her son Corey to gun violence in 2014, and she began the nonprofit, the ACE Project, not long after. A mother feeling she had to do something so her son didn't die in vain. Through her tenacity and never giving up and others buying into her mission, she was able to purchase the abandoned property where her son was killed, turned it into ACE Place. It's now a community center for young people in that area. ACE stands for Acting Compassionately Every Day. Your generosity helped buy sewing machines for young people, and guess what? They did more than just use them for their own crafts and creations. 2 of those teenagers have since started their own sewing businesses. One teen is Denacia. She now has Denacia's Designs. The other teen is Greg. He has Rapacity Apparel. You can check them out on Instagram. Your generosity, a movement for wholeness in a fragmented world. One more story I wanted to share. I reached out to Demarion Fleming with Sowing Seeds with Faith. That is a local tutoring program for children to offer academic help and empower children with opportunity. Our last donation to that group, I was lucky enough, privileged enough to hand deliver in person. On a night, many of the older children of that group were boarding a bus to visit historically Black colleges and universities. They would spend 3 days in Atlanta touring museums, historical sites, and colleges to perpetuate a feeling of belonging. 4 of those young adults have applied to schools there. 2 will be attending next fall. but this is the statistic that struck with me. 94 of the 100 children on that bus had never been outside the state of Kentucky. DeMarion said to me by email, "You all, your church, not only saved lives, but for some youth, you saved lives." Transformational, a movement for wholeness in a fragmented world. As we sang a song recently here in church, I couldn't help but connect the dots with the name of DeMarion's group called Sowing Seeds. The line from the song we recently sang, "If you want a garden, you have to sow the seeds." Well, friends, I think that is definitely what we are doing. Sowing seeds in Louisville and throughout the world for all of those gardens. So give with love, give with the knowledge that your generosity is making a difference and transforming lives. And in a complex world, some things are simple. Give with joy.